Hello and welcome to A Celtic World, the Celtic YouTube channel and podcast for Celtic fans all around the world, made by Celtic fans all around the world. Just two of us tonight. We've got a bit of a bit short-handed, but I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. So I'll say hello to Innes, who's in Wrexham.
Hi Stephen, how you doing? Good to be back on.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. What's the weather doing in Wrexham? Pretty
Shite.
cold.
No, it's 12 degrees today, but it's a classic Scottish saying, it's shite. It's been raining for days. So.
Yeah,
it is mild. It is mild.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome along to the show and welcome everybody in the comments. I can see some of the regular faces in there already. Monty saying good morning to Dickie, which is a reference to Gav. Gav's not with us today. He's having some technical issues. So we're going to have to soldier on without him. Dave from Bangkok saying hail from Bangkok. So hello to you, David. Excuse me, Monty. And I think that's about it for now. Yep, so good morning, everyone. So plenty to talk about since our last show. We had the Europa, a very good Sorry, Innes, you still there?
Back on, Stephen.
Yeah, sorry, had a few internet issues of my own there. So yeah, plenty to talk about. We had the game against Feyenoord, which the guys previewed last week, but we can have a chat about that. We've got the game on the weekend where we went to Easter Road. We've got the ensuing hilarity over at Ibrox. And we've got heart-stopping points as well. And throw all that into the fact we have another game next week at home at Dundee. So let's crack on. And we'll start with the Feyenoord game. I think it's safe to say, Innes, probably one of our best away performances in a long, long time. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, well, I was travelling. I was coming back from Eastern Europe and I missed the first half because of the early kickoff, my time. I was actually meant to be going to the game. We'd planned it for a long, long time. But after the shit show in the summer, I said, right, so if they're not invested in the team, then, I'm not investing my money to go. And probably not got a ticket. But anyway, 6 of my mates were there and 3 got in the Celtic end and 3 were in the Feyenoord end. So they all got tickets. So I kind of regretted not going. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, but yeah, as I said, previously, I was never really up for it. I mean, for the Europa League this year. Obviously the focus is on the league, but that said, the second half that I saw, and it was a strong performance, and good to see, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very good. They did have their backs to the wall for part of the game, but I think that's to be expected when you're away from home against anyone. And Feyenoord, although they've been having a bit of a different form recently, they're still a good team and it's still a hard place to go to. So there was a couple of good performances in that game. I think most notably Yang, who's came out the cold under Martin O'Neill's tutelage, and he's really playing well. So it's kind of great to see him, and he's keeping Sebastian Tunekti out the team. So good run of form. Surprising though, Innes.
Yeah. He said a lot of good words about Yang. He said there's definitely a player there, just needs some confidence, etc. So, it's good to see because he was completely lost, weeks back. Yang, I was surprised that he was going to get back in the team, but good performance there. And he put in a decent shift yesterday at Easter Road as well. So, And obviously with Martin O'Neill around for the Dundee game, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the pick on Wednesday. So
yeah, I think amongst all the talk about how good Martin O'Neill has done at Celtic in his short spell since he's come in, I think his biggest achievement has to be making Yang into a player. Because he's probably the fourth Celtic manager that Yang has worked with, and no one has yet managed to get a tune out of him. So if Martin O'Neill does indeed get a tune out of him, then it's an incredible achievement.
Absolutely. Because the squad's so threadbare and thin at the moment, we need everybody that we can. And certainly when I saw the team lines on for the Feyenoord game, I thought it doesn't look too great. But no, it's proved us wrong. So
yeah, so Feyenoord, quick turnaround. Then we're off to Easter Road on Sunday for a what time? What time is the kickoff in the UK?
12 o'clock.
Yeah, 12 o'clock kickoff. So it was 11 o'clock here on Sunday night. So a bit of a late one for us. But probably more civilised for you. Did you get to watch the game live?
Yeah, I watched it all. Yeah, so it was good. Again, before the game, going to Easter Road, I thought this was going to be a hard one, even though Hibs have had a couple of indifferent results in the last couple of weeks, but it's never an easy place to go. Celtic's had a tough time out there in previous seasons. And so the first 20 minutes were a bit shaky, to be honest. I thought Sarachi and Donovan were a bit nervy. But after 20 minutes, got hold of the game and started to dominate and played well for that the remainder of the first half. So
we'll start with the team lineup. Any surprises? It was the same starting lineup as in Rotterdam. Any surprises?
No, I think after the Feyenoord game, I think it kind of spoke for itself that was going to be the team. So pretty straightforward. Well, Sarachi was obviously in instead of Tierney, but the rest of it spoke for itself.
Yeah. And you're right. I think Hibs probably had the better of the early exchanges, and they put us under a bit of pressure early on. What did you make of Donovan's performance at right back?
Obviously put in a good shift in Rotterdam on Thursday night, so don't know if it was tired or nerves or whatever, but a bit shaky for that starting point, and that rash tackle as well. So, but that said, he's still better than Ralston. So he was really exposed in the second half, Ralston. So.
Yeah, he was a bit, and I think Monty agrees with you there. He's saying he's definitely better than Ralston. I'm not sure that's the bar we should be looking to get to, but never mind. And just talking about that incident with the tackle, the one he got booked for. There's been a lot of chat round about the socials today or certainly by Huns anyway, that there should have been a red. Did you share that opinion?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was a rash tackle, and the yellow was pretty fair. So, don't think it was a red.
Yeah, and we took the lead basically from a Hibs mistake, with their keeper trying to pass out from the back. It was a real disaster for them, wasn't it?
It was. The pass that should have been played for the keeper was out to the left back. It was there all day long, and for whatever reason he put it into the middle. Hatate read it well, really well. I mean, the guy slipped, and it was straightforward tap in. So easy.
Yeah.
The Hibs keeper didn't look that great actually for the whole game, even though we never put him under a lot of pressure, certainly second half. But he never looked that great.
I know who is the Hibs keeper. Where did they get him from? Do you know?
No idea. There was talk before, just as I was settling into the game, before the kickoff, and they were talking about changing keepers, etc. But I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I think they might be looking at that one a bit more closely now after his performance. And yeah, we scored a second almost straight away, straight off the kickoff. We win the ball back and we beat their press with a couple of nice passes. Sinachi breaks away into the clear. sends away Yang, bit of a step over, great cross, and it's a goal. So really good follow-up, wasn't it?
It was a great move, and I think it started off from Trusty to Schmeichel to Srirachi, who had that big long, no, to Scales, to Srirachi, who had that massive run right up the pitch. And yeah, it was great. I mean, 2-0 up and easy street at that time, so it was great.
Yeah, no, and it's nice to see Engels getting on the score sheet. He doesn't. I mean, I don't think he scores enough goals. Certainly from open play. Anyway, he's a good penalty taker, but I think we need more goals from him from open play. Good to see him getting on the score sheet.
It was indeed, and if you see it on the reruns, I mean, he made a good run. He himself had a good long run into the box to get that, and obviously took the sore one on the face, which in itself should have been looked at for dangerous play, but it never even went to VAR or anything. So, but yeah, great goal by Engels.
I was just going to move on to that about him getting a full boot in the face after he scored. I mean, for me, I think that should have been upgraded to a red card. I think he should have been sent to the monitor to have a look at that. And when you consider the whining that's been going on over Trusty's tap with the side of his foot to Butland's head in the League Cup semi-final, then that was orders of magnitude worse.
Absolutely,
and yet still got the same punishment. But yeah, did you think that as well? Did you think it should have been a red?
Well, it was dangerous play. A foot high into his face. That's a red card. So, and to be honest, it was a challenge that he really didn't need to make. So, Engels was well ahead of him, and he was never going to get the ball. So, yeah, it definitely should have gone to the monitor, and VAR should have been involved. But as we've seen previously, it's a bit selective when it goes to VAR and who's playing.
Yeah. More of that later on. But yeah, so at that point, I think we had really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, and I think we were playing really well. And it was a question of how many goals we could score. I think half time came at the wrong time for us. And David's just referencing the strike from Srirachi off the post, and that was a great piece of football, wasn't it? It
was indeed. It was a good shot too. The keeper again was nowhere, just unfortunate hit the post. Yeah, but as you say, we were dominant at that time, and could have scored a couple more. Yeah, but it was a good move in the lead up to that. I think it was it Callum McGregor and played a great ball into Srirachi, and was the back heel from Maida, I think.
Yeah, there was a lovely little back heel from Maida that put him in there, and he's just cracked it as hard as he could, and he was very, very unlucky, I think. And I think at 3-0, that would have been game, set, and match, wouldn't it? But fortunately for Hibs, they stayed in the game, and they reached half time, only 2 behind. So they come back out in the second half, and I think the penalty changed the game. Let's talk about the penalty. I'll grab your views on it first. What did you think?
Well, on first look, I thought, this is hard done by here, and the ball's just come through a ruck of players. But when you see it back, and I saw Scales' interview after the game, and he himself said it was going to go to VAR and be a penalty. But his arm was out, so he's given the referee a decision, and well, without hesitation, they're going to give it, aren't they? So, but at the start, I thought it was a tough one. So.
Look, I'm okay with that being a penalty. We know there's a lot of dubiety around the handball rules, and nobody really knows for sure what they're meant to be, what they're looking for. But my only beef is it has to be applied consistently across all teams. And I think you know what I'm going to say here now. When you look at the penalty that wasn't given to Livingston at Ibrox last week, then it makes it an absolute farce of the whole thing, doesn't it?
There's not enough being said about that, and after Martindale and John Beaton have had their private chat, it's all been put to bed. But as we said, the Trusty thing went on for weeks and weeks, and that's already been put to bed. And it was it's not just a howler. it's cheating. That's what it is. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think Monty sums it up well there. If you have a blue shot on there, it won't be a penalty, but we're all paranoid, aren't we? But Mickey Moynihan disagrees. He says, yeah, it was a penalty. Even Scales thought so. I think that's worth pointing out in the post-match. Scales sort of held his hands up and said he thought when it went up to VAR, he was pretty sure they were going to give it. So, as I say, I think his arm was away from his body. But Paul Massey on our group chat had brought up the fact that there was a foul right in front of Scales with the Iredale tugging away at Engels' shirt. And that was why Engels didn't get anything on it, and the ball was right at Scales before he had any chance to react. And he couldn't do anything, and just it ended up coming off his hands absolutely accidentally. But the ref could have had an easy out there and just gave the foul, but he didn't, and then we moved on, and it was 2-1.
It was a good point out before, actually. I didn't see it in real time, but once you see it on the playback, it's quite clear that Engels was fouled by Engender. So, yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it looks as if we're being joined by our very good friend and ally who's came to save us. Dano, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. What a headache. Sorry for joining late, guys. Man, the guys installing my new washer just left, and I had to wipe my windows like a couple weeks ago, so I had to re-sign in with everything. I was contacting Gav, like he's just like, what is going on here, man? I was like, I don't have any logins or anything left, so I had the link to join, but no matter what I did, it took forever, man. So apologies, gentlemen.
But dare we ask why you had to wipe your windows?
Oh man, I got complete.
Nothing to do with the police, was it?
No, I got completely locked out of my system. Like my laptop was unplugged for a couple days, and while I was moving. So then I got back, and then somehow through some combination of bad logins or something like that, I just couldn't get back in. And so they were like, "Well, this could take 3 or 4 weeks." I was like, "Well, fuck that." So yeah. That was a massive headache right while I was moving too. So it was crazy. But anyways, yeah, been a bit traumatic on my end. Yeah. Good to be back though, boys. Good to be back.
Oh, good to see you, mate. Well, Monty's asking, Dano, are you in Hannibal Lecter's cell? You seem to have changed your location. Have you moved house?
Yeah, I moved up to Seoul. Yeah, so I'm living here in Jamshil, man. It's great. Got a lovely rooftop, man. Beautiful, awesome view. But yeah, it's been a ball of stress, man. Moving always is. So these guys were installing a new laundry machine for me today, a new washing machine. So they just left. I was telling Gav, man, I'm gonna be late, blah blah blah. So yeah, kind of lucky I made it.
Actually. Well, we've had all sorts of dramas up to now. Gav's laptop's died on him. My internet shut it. Poor old Dennis was left on his own for a few minutes, but he soldiered on there bravely. But we'll just go back over some of the stuff we were talking about before you came on, Dano, and I'll let you comment on. We were talking about the recent performances of Yang, and I know you're the founder member, treasurer, and president of the Yang Gang. So I'll give you the floor.
Yeah.
I'll give you the floor. You can tell us how good he's been.
He's been good. Yesterday, especially second half, which is most of what I caught. He was trash yesterday, but yeah, he's been absolutely superb. I mean, scored a goal in Europe. He's really turned it on. You wonder how much the influence of Martin O'Neill is coming into play there, but then again, it seems like kind of everybody is playing better without Brendan Rodgers there. But yeah, you do wonder specifically for Yang how much, or Yang, I should say, as you would really pronounce it, how much the influence of Martin O'Neill has had like a positive effect specifically on him, because he has really turned it on, I'd say, with the exception of yesterday. But yeah, it's great to see, man. He has a ton of potential, man. And I know a lot of people poo-poo him and they haven't been impressed, but yeah, lately it seems like he's kind of reaching a maturity level with Martin O'Neill at the helm. You wonder how Wilfred Nancy's management is going to affect that positively or negatively. But yeah, obviously for the team as a whole, it's been generally very positive with Martin O'Neill at the helm. But yeah, you do wonder how much of his sartorial impact has been felt by Yang. I would guess it's been very positive, seeing the result.
Yeah. Well, certainly he had a big hand in the second goal, which was Engel's header. And yeah, you're right. He fell away in the second half, along with the rest of the team. How much of that Innes, do you reckon, was down to tiredness from Thursday night? Sorry.
Definitely a factor without a shadow of doubt. And I think to be honest, they tried to just contain the game at that time, hold possession. I think it was 80% possession in the second half or something like that. It was just, ridiculous. Never tested the keeper, just playing keep ball and tried and managed and see the game out. But of course, then at 2-1, then your back's to the wall a bit. So, but definitely the tiredness was a effect, because it was they put in a big shift on Thursday night. So, and then back to it early yesterday. So.
And Darryl, what was your take on the Hibs penalty that's caused a bit of controversy today, the handball? I know it's a big mess, the handball rule, but what do you think?
It just in the end was one of those borderline calls. Once they said it was under review, I pretty much knew it was going to be a penalty. You just kind of get that feeling sometimes when you're watching a game. Yeah, I thought it was very, very borderline. I thought the call could have gone either way, but you're watching Scalesy in in the post-game interview. He's saying, I take responsibility for it. It was a handball, like in the end, getting to see it later. So, hey, that's from the man himself. So who am I to say anything? But yeah, I thought it was somewhat cheap, man. What do you guys think?
And speaking of Scalesy, how good has he been lately? He's been excellent.
He's been brilliant, and as we saw at the end of the game, he thought he was getting man of the match. But no, he's been dominant, and he's really stepped up. But it's good to see. His distribution sometimes lacks a bit, but for defending wise, he's been brilliant. So there was one move yesterday. He come in and broke the play up, and I think was it set up? I can't remember. But he really broke the play up well. And overall, he'd be missed. That's the point. He'd be missed. And him and Trusty together have been good.
Yeah, I think they have. And Trusty as well is on a really good run of form. I think he handled Kieran Bowie quite well, who's a big lad with a bit of pace as well. But I thought Trusty handled him quite well. Chris Sutton in commentary was desperate for Bowie to outmuscle him, so he could go on.
Not Stevens.
Oh, sorry, I think I dropped out there a minute. Chris Sutton was desperate for him to get outmuscled by Bowie. Are we back?
Yeah, you're back.
Kinda, yeah.
Technical difficulties, right? Okay. So Trusty, Scales, good partnership at the back, Daniel.
Yeah, Scales has been immense, and Trusty too, man. Trusty, they've been a good partnership overall for sure. It's a shame to see Scales get hit with that penalty, but overall he's been fantastic. And when things were nervy at the end, he had a couple of very good header clearances and stuff like that were key to keeping it level. I mean, aside from Schmeichel making a couple amazing saves, but Yeah. They've both been pretty good together.
But also, Scales has been performing for international level, so he's getting a lot of praise there for the last 2 games for Ireland. So yeah, it's good. It's good for Celtic anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, as his trustee as well, it has to be said, he's been starting for the US national team. I know Dano's right across the US national team. And Trusty's I think he's been starting for them. So yeah, they're building up their caps, building up their reputations, and it's a good thing with CCV being out for the rest of the season, as was just revealed last week. That's a big blow, though, isn't it, Dano?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, CCV's an anchor back there, man. I mean, whatever you want to say about his performance this year, or before the injury, I mean, he's been a rock for us for years now. So yeah, having him out the rest of the season, man, I mean, that's a bummer. But I mean, if you get close enough to the end of the season with like a long-term injury, I mean, the question becomes, do you even bring it back? Like, can he even get match fit at any meaningful point? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a shame, but we'll keep rolling. And I mean, thankfully, Trusty and Scales have been great together. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a conversation about CCV at some point, isn't there? That's a good chunk of his Celtic career he's missed through injury in this, isn't it? I mean, at some point, I think the club are going to have to cut their losses.
I think it probably will be at the end of the season. Actually, he was carrying that injury for the few games before he did go out. He looked slow and sluggish a bit, and he wasn't his former self. So I think he has lost a huge chunk of time out over the seasons he's been with us, and I would think that, well, it depends. When the new guy comes in, he'll make an assessment on the whole squad, I guess, and make his decisions there.
All right, so we see the game out. Like, I think it was fairly comfortable at the end of the day, as Dano mentioned. Schmeichel had a couple of good saves, but we saw the game out when we win. And with Hearts dropping points the day before, and with Rangers hilariously dropping more points at home at Falkirk, it turned out to be a really good day for us, didn't it?
Ah, man.
Go on, Dano.
Good. I mean, Hearts could have lost. It's so could have the Huns, but overall, yeah, picking up 2 points on both, and we got a game in hand on Hearts. I mean, you don't assume that you're gonna win everything with the game in hand, but it's looking good, man. It's looking a lot better than it was a few weeks ago. Whew.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's very true.
We've got a right run of games, over this month. A lot of games to pack in. We certainly don't want any more injuries because the squad's that threadbare. But you just keep chipping away, and it comes to the question, if Martin O'Neill's last game is in the Dundee game on Wednesday, and the new guy comes in for the Hearts game, that's a big game for him to step in Martin O'Neill's shoes.
Yeah.
With the expectation that you're going to win the game, but we shall see. But who knows? O'Neill might get the phone call again to hold the fort for next week. But you never know. You don't know what's going on in the background there. But it just seems to be taking an inordinate amount of time to get this over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on to that then. We'll move on to the managerial situation. We'll talk a bit about Martin O'Neill first. I mean, he has done an incredible job since he's come back in. And what I want to know is, when do we start the conversation about sainthood? I mean, really, the man is just an absolute legend. And I was a bit concerned when he came back that there was a danger he might end up tarnishing his legacy a little bit. But if anything, he's enhanced it, hasn't he?
Oh,
absolutely.
No, go ahead, Innes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a big ask for him to come in. He thought it was just going to be for a couple of games, so he had really nothing to lose. But he's done a great job, and credit to also has to go to Sean Maloney and the rest of the backroom team, because as we know from his first stint at Celtic, he's just the front man. He never takes part in the training. He really just comes in on match day, gives a positive team talk, and away they go. But so the backroom team's got to get an awful lot of credit in this. And I'd imagine that's part of discussions when Wilfred Nancy is the Sean Maloney role, etc., etc. I'd imagine that's been conversations being had. But for O'Neill, it'll be good to see him if we get a result on Wednesday against Dundee to be at Celtic Park, and if that's his last game, what a place to go out on. So,
yeah, I
guess the question is what happens. So does he just disappear out the side door, or does he still have a part to play, Dano, when the new guy comes in?
I think he's always been kind of back there, like available and accessible. If the new manager wants to come in and ask him a few questions, I think that's kind of always been the case with O'Neill. I mean, I think he's always been somewhat accessible on that level. But barring sainthood, I mean, should we start talking about a statue? I mean, the guy is. I don't know, man. I mean, he's completely saved the day again. I mean, once having the career he did was already a lot. Was amazing. I mean, absolutely stellar. But I mean, you got to kind of start talking about it, man. He's the man is a legend, man.
He's got the fire in his belly again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of sensed from the post-match interviews yesterday. He does seem to be a bit reluctant to completely step away, and he was talking, in terms of maybe we'll see, and he wasn't absolutely saying he wasn't going to play any part on it. He did say it was going to be up to the new manager to make that decision. But what about this point that's been made by Kaiser, Innes, about Martin possibly being director of football?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's been talked about over the last week or so quite widely in the media. I don't know. I think that conversation's probably been had behind the scenes for now. But again, we don't know how much Nancy is going to, want everything shaped his way. We don't know. So it's just speculation until we know. But I think there should be a role for him at the club if he wants it. And what that is, I'm not quite sure yet. So,
yeah, and I think you've got the football doctor there, Paul Tisdale, and I think that's probably part of his brief, isn't it? I mean, when you talk about a director of football, you're talking about someone to oversee the whole structure of the club, including recruitment, data analytics, academies. And things like that, and I'm not sure that's really Martin O'Neill's forte.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you reckon?
That's you, Dano. Stephen's broken out again.
Yeah, no, I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Everybody... Yeah, so Daniel, what do you think there's a place for Martin moving forward?
I think has to be made for him at some point.
Yeah,
I seem to be.
It's a day of issues.
We're having all sorts of dramas here, aren't we?
Yeah. Are all the screens dropping out for you guys too? Like getting the little
world. Yeah. Every now and again, everybody's dropping out and then coming back.
Fantastic. All right. At least it's not just me. But anyways, what I was saying was that, there has to be some kind of role for Martin O'Neill if he wants it. Whether that be just kind of a boardroom consultant or director of football if he was willing to do it. But yeah, I mean, the modern analytics and all that type of stuff, I agree. Like, I don't think that's really his forte, but there has to be some kind of role for him moving forward, I'd say.
That's a good point, Dano, on the boardroom advisor, because he's been quite clear and quite open that what's needed for the team. So that hopefully these conversations are going on behind the scenes with the board, and for once they actually take note and listen to what he's saying. because we're widely exposed with how thin we are, all over the pitch. So we'll see what happens in January if they do back the manager, which hopefully they do. Well, they certainly need to. But as with the board, they always revert to type and play it safe. They just don't have that ambition, as we know. Where's the ambition? So
right. So yeah, I mean, maybe having Martin O'Neill up there, can give him a kick in the pants a little bit, man. I mean, but there's got to be some kind of role for him. I mean, once he's gone from the managerial thing this weekend, I think the dude is just magic at Celtic. How can you deny it?
Yeah, so maybe we'll move on to the topic of the new manager then, and Wilfred Nonsi. I think Martin O'Neill more or less confirmed that he's the man who's coming in. And maybe Dano, you be our North American correspondent. Do you have any knowledge of Mr. Nonsi and his record in the MLS?
I was going to ask you guys, man. I watch close to zero MLS unless I'm back over there, and I haven't been back in a little over a year. So I was going to ask you guys. I'm not sure. I mean, there must be some kind of at least stylistic continuity, or at least one would hope, with tactics and formations and stuff like that, where the players there could be some continuity, because that's kind of what you worry about between Rodgers and then this short stint with Martin O'Neill and then Nancy coming in. So I mean, the general hope would be that there is some kind of what would you say, syncing up between the different managers. I mean, yeah. So hopefully that's the case. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, and maybe grab your thoughts on this, Innes. How do you think that Nonsi will manage it? Because he's his third game, as you mentioned previously, his first game's likely to be a top two clash against Hearts. His second game, I think we've got Roma in Europa League, and I think his third game's a cup final. So if he given that O'Neill's done so well and has got us in a really good place at the moment, it'd probably be a bit mad for the new manager to change too much, certainly for the first few games.
Absolutely. And, from what we hear, I mean, he likes to play a back three. Well, certainly, there's no way we don't have the squad to do it, to suddenly change to go to a straight back three and change formation, etc. He'll have no time on the training pitch for them, really, because the games are coming thick and fast. So, it'd be loath to change anything, certainly with the form the players are in at the moment and the confidence they're playing with. And another one we should be talking about, getting the freedom to play under O'Neill, is Hatate. He's playing like his old self again, getting a lot of space and looks interested. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see, if he makes any changes, because, it's got the recipe to turn pretty sour pretty quick and not have a good start. So, yeah, we shall see. Difficult one.
Yeah, so Kaiser's having a go there, isn't he? About I think it was me who said Philip Nonsi, which I pronunciation.
Yeah, Brother Wilfred or Nancy Sinatra. Nancy Sinatra. Good to hear from you.
Yeah,
Kaiser,
I'm not calling him Nancy. Unless I get 100% confirmation from Gav that that's the correct pronunciation, because we know that Gav is the ultimate source of truth on pronunciations. So,
yes,
and also as Monty's saying here, we can put sort of this sort of nonsense to bed as well. Nancy's boys and all that sort of absolute rubbish. So yeah. I'm interested to see what happens. Sort of the mood music is that he'll probably come in after the Dundee game, but you never know, do you? We don't know what the hold-up is. So what do you think, Innes? Do you think he'll be in the dugout before the Hearts game?
Well, I mean, reading between the lines, he was meant to be in the dugout, in the stand yesterday watching the game, but it was only when we heard from Martin O'Neill that he got the call on Saturday from Sean Maloney, I think, or the board or whoever it was, to say that he's be there for the Dundee game. So who knows? Who knows? We just have to take it and see. But you would like to think that if it's gone ahead, that he'd be in the stands for the Dundee game. But as I say, time will tell.
I mean, you'd like to think he was already working for us, to be honest with you, wouldn't he? I mean, he could be watching from afar and assessing the squad and talking to the recruitment team and things like that. If we actually have a recruitment team, do we have a recruitment team? It's a good question, isn't it?
Open question. Yeah.
Maybe he's just talking to himself. But yeah, you think he'd have started already, Dano? Do you think?
Yeah. I think mainly the holdup has been just finding the right time to have Nancy come in where it's not too much crazy pressure. I mean, Hearts is a pressure game for sure, but giving him a couple weeks and maybe the recruitment team is kind of going over things with him and in the background. That's what you're hoping is happening. Who the hell knows? But I think mainly they were kind of trying to agree on like an optimal time once they had kind of signed, sealed, and delivered the contract.
No, on this board there'll be haggling over 50p on his compensation. So.
Well, that was the suggestion, wasn't it? That after the 1st of December there was less of a compensation package due. So I mean, unless it's literally millions of pounds, then surely that's not true, Innes.
Well, it'll all come out in the wash for sure. It certainly was a surprise yesterday to hear that he was staying on for a few more days, but he did think to say it was just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But that was the impression that O'Neill gave in the interviews yesterday. But you just never know with this bloody shit show of a board, so you just never know.
Yeah, they were like 5 pounds off on their figures, so he had to really hammer that out.
Yeah, they didn't make much of it in the press and the media, but there was another red card protest from the Celtic fans in the ground before the game. And I think it's probably quite important that we keep that pressure up, isn't it, Innes?
Absolutely. And, Sky TV never showed it much. They just got sort of a brief glimpse, a couple of seconds, and that was it. But actually on socials, when you see it, it was widespread, over the full fan base, red card. So to try and pin this on the Green Brigade, what the board are trying to do is just, it was clearly not, and it was loud throughout, so all Celtic fans against the board. It was quite loud throughout the game. We've got to keep this up for sure, because the Leopards don't change their spots, as we just said. And without fundamental change in that boardroom, we're going to get much more of the same shit show that we've had over the previous season. So,
yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? That a new manager, same as the old manager, and they're just going to get handed players and told to develop them, and that's a recipe for disaster, especially with a guy like Wilfred Nancy, who's not any experience in the Scottish game, so it's going to be tough for him anyway. So he has to get support from the boardroom, Daniel.
Absolutely. I mean, especially him being willing to join during December, during this crucial period before the break, and then we've got the January window. Obviously, we've got some work to do. We've been shorthanded. We need a lot of things, and hopefully he gets some support. He gets some cash to throw around. God knows we have it. So, let's go.
What would be your first priority in the transfer window on the 1st of January? Who do you want to see in the door?
When you got to take your pick, there's holes all over the pitch, but we need strikers, need right wingers, we need defenders. Yeah. strong tackling midfielder. Been crying out for that for a long time. All over the pitch. I mean, there's money needing spent widely. But certainly striker, by all accounts, Maeda might be away. So there's another hole. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could be looking at up to half a dozen 8 players you were needing. And just to bolster the squad.
Yeah, for me, right back, right winger, and a striker are the 3. I've got to be in the door basically before the bells are finished. I would say so. Daniel, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think striker is going to be the main priority. You've heard rumblings of this forever with Maeda, and I think probably in January you kind of feel like it's finally going to happen with him going. So yeah, we need some, and we've just been lacking that scoring final sharpness in front of goal for a while. I mean, ever since Kyogo left, basically. So I would say that's the first priority. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at least 5 or 6 players come in. But knowing the board, I'd say maybe 4. Like we're probably not going to reach that level. But there's definitely a lot of things that need to get addressed. I mean, the right back thing. I love Bricky, but without AJ back there and someone providing like real competition for AJ, that's something that needs to get addressed. And yeah, some wingers, man, some wingers for sure. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that needs to add to the competition that's going on in the first team, for sure.
And we also need to look at the left back, because Srirachi is only on loan, so with no option to buy. Yep. So if he's going to go, there's need cover there for Tierney, because he's not going to play every game.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about that. Is there a signing option on Srirachi or no? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say that we can't sign him, and I think certainly that question should be asked in the January transfer window, because we've spent the best part of we've finally ended up replacing Kieran Tierney with Kieran Tierney. That's how long we spent trying to replace him. So left backs are hard to find, and we seem to have stumbled across one now. Srirachi, he's back in the Uruguayan national team, so he'll be going to the World Cup, and he's clearly a good player. So I think that's certainly. I mean, it might not be a possibility. He might not be interested, but we should at least be asking the question for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah, so on we go to the next game, and we're at home to Dundee on Wednesday night, I think it is. Will you be able to watch that game, Innes? Are you able to watch on Celtic TV?
Yeah, well, through other means. So
yeah.
So
look what happened to Dano. Look what happened to Dano. He ended up having to scrub his windows.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's murder, man.
I'll definitely watching the game, and obviously the game on Sunday against Hearts. Then I'm going up for the Aberdeen game on the one before Christmas, which is the 21st, Sunday 21st. I'm going up to that game. So coming thick and fast.
Yeah, what are we expecting lineup wise from that game, Daniel? Do you think you'll just go with the same team again, or do you think there'll be any rotation?
I think there might be a good bit of rotation here. I want to see Engels get a start, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, barring that, I don't know. Maeda seems to maybe need a little bit of a rest. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of rotation. I mean, just going balls to the wall like this for 3 games, just bing bang boom, is not necessarily advisable, in my estimation.
The question is, replace them with who? So
exactly. Exactly. Thus we get back to the January transfer window, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bernardo, but I mean, possibly could come in, maybe in the midfield, but you'd be kind of loath to drop anybody at the minute in the midfield. And Balikwisha never seems to be getting a look in under Martin O'Neill. So I'd be surprised if he started. And Tunekti also, he seems to have fallen down the pecking order a bit under O'Neill. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes much the same again.
Yeah.
What's happened to James Forrest? Is he injured?
Haven't heard.
Yeah, no idea.
He's another one that seems to have dropped off the face of the earth. Maybe somebody in the comments could put us right there, whether he's injured or not. Because Forrest has an option on the right hand side, certainly for parts of games, but he hasn't been featuring recently. But it'll be interesting to see. The option's there to play Johnny Kenny through the middle, and maybe give Dyson a rest, play him off the bench, or maybe even on the left, which is probably his preferred position. Bernardo, I think Bernardo's been exiled from the team because of his haircut, personally speaking. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I'm not claiming to be an expert on current hair fashion, but it's a bad one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Bernardo, for me, I mean, I've always liked the guy, and he's a Portuguese under-21, and, under Rodgers, he was never getting a sniff of the game, and, what the hell's he got to do? I mean, the midfield was crying out to be changed, certainly in the latter games with Rodgers, and, what's he got to do to get some minutes? And he came on yesterday, but he's, ideally he could do but get a start, and getting a run of games, so just give us a bit of breathing space.
Both him and Engels, I think they're both good investments. They just haven't been able to get a look in at all this season, and it's just kind of shocking to me watching the capital we put into it, and then the playing time we're not giving these boys. I think they both are.
Well, Engels is, he's started to show a bit of form in the last couple of games, but he's doing all right, and so they just need a run of games, and they can't be sitting on the bench. For weeks on end and coming on for 10 minutes here and there. They need a run of games.
Yeah, and I mean, Bernardo came on at 77, 75 minutes yesterday. It's not ideal. So.
Yeah, I think the problem with the midfield is that we never drop Callum McGregor. We just never drop him. So in a three-man midfield, you've got four guys there looking for two places. And people are just have to miss out. McCowan's playing on the right hand side just now, but he's another guy who's a naturally central midfielder. It just doesn't get a look in there. And I think Engels is playing much better since O'Neill's come back. He seems to be playing in a more deep lying role rather than a box to box 8, which he seemed to be playing under Rodgers. And as you mentioned earlier on, Hatate is playing much further up the park and looking much more comfortable there. So I think the issue is Hatate's the only one who's got a bit of creativity about him. The rest of them are very workmanlike midfielders, and I say that with the utmost respect. But I think Hatate's the only man who can make something out of nothing. So I think he'll always be there, and I really hope that we don't lose him in the January transfer window. There has been a bit of chatter, but that would be a disaster, wouldn't it, Innes?
Yeah, it's that really would put the tin lid on the whole thing. Losing Hatate, and I've been a knocker of him for much of the season. Lack of interest. You didn't look interested. Sloppy passing, etc., etc. But again, since O'Neill's come in, he's looked lively. He looks interested back. And he's playing further forward, and as you say, he's the one that can play that killer pass and be the creative player. So I really, really, for this moment in time, don't want to lose him in the January window. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean that would be bad. So just grab your score predictions first. Daniel, what do you think the score's going to be against Dundee at home on a freezing cold Wednesday night in the east end of Glasgow?
Well, everyone's going to be super excited to be there. The people in the seats. I mean, especially if it's freezing cold. I'd see us 3-0, 3-1. Then I mean, I think we'll see them off, especially at home. pretty easily, and the players are going to be, jazzed to send off Martin O'Neill in style. So I think it'll be a good night to be at Celtic Park.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if it is confirmed it is O'Neill's last match, I mean, there'll be a good atmosphere in the stadium under the lights on a Wednesday night. It'll be good, albeit it'll be cold and freezing and wet probably. But if it's his send-off, the crowd will be up for it, and I think the players will be up for it, and I'm looking at a 3-0.
Yeah, it should be a comfortable win, I think. Obviously, these home games have always got there's always a chance they're going to turn into a bit of a slog if you don't get an early goal. So that's the key, isn't it? Is get an early goal. But yeah, let's hope so. So we're running up to just short of the hour, and it would be remiss to go a whole show without having a good old laugh at the Huns. So let's spend the last couple of minutes. Doing that. I saw a social saying, it's only December. They've already sacked their manager, their chairman, their CEO, and got knocked out of the cup by Celtic. So it's been an eventful old season for them, hasn't it, Innes?
Yeah, it sure has. And yesterday, I deliberately never looked at, after the Celtic game, I think it was about 10 minutes in, I had a look on FotMob, 0-0, right? And I said, right, that's it. So I've just left it at that. And then, after their game had finished and I was getting nothing coming through on messages from our group chat, nothing, it was silence. I thought, they've sneaked a goal. And I had a quick look, and there it was, 0-0. Then, of course, went on socials, and the boo-ometer was out. There was nobody there at the end of the game. The Onion Bears still chanting Danny Roll. But, I think it's, they were lucky against Hibs. They were lucky against Livy for sure. So, they've got a tough run of away games coming up now. So let's see what the tune is come the end of this month. He'll be under a heap of pressure, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean that's it. The whole club's under a bit of pressure, aren't they, Dano? Because they've already sacked the manager. They've already pulled that figure, so they can't sack another one on top of sacking everybody else at the same time. So it's a bit of a shit show.
Bit of a shit show would be an understatement, man. I mean, what are the release clauses, and how much of a golden parachute are they having to give all these firings when they are skint as fuck, man? Like that is obviously cutting into their bottom line big time. But I mean, yeah, just generally it's a complete shit show. But the other thing is that was the most dour. I didn't watch the whole game, but it was one of the most dour football performances I've seen in a long time. I felt like falling asleep during the 10-minute highlights. I mean, it was just ugh. I mean, it was like barf inducing, man. It was crazy. So yeah, I mean, if you're one of them, if you're a supporter of the Huns, man, you must just be apoplectic right now. It's a complete mess.
Well, thank God we're not, Daniel.
Yeah,
God, we've all been blessed. We've all been blessed in life. And just when you thought things over there couldn't get any more bizarre, a Charlie Kirk banner appears in the stand. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
I think, and to be honest with you, I think even the Rangers fans are embarrassed about it. Let me tell you, it takes a lot to embarrass these guys, right? But they seem to embarrass with this Charlie Kirk no surrender. So do you get a laugh at that one, Innes?
Oh, when I saw it on socials, and it's just cringeworthy. It's just sheer embarrassment. And when they're lurching from one disaster to another, and all accounts yesterday, they were, as Dan was saying, they were seemingly rotten. And but they've got no sellable assets, so I don't know how they get out of this hole. I mean, the players they brought in are all lower English league players, and they look terrible. So where they're going to get any income in this player trading model, I have no idea. So financial FSR rules are going to kick in there pretty soon, I would guess.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with Dave Clarkston there. So here, David. I think you're right. You're right, Innes. They can't be throwing any more money around, considering all these, as Daniel mentioned, all the people that are paying off for sackings, it must be running into tens of millions now. So and
Easily,
having forked out the family silver on that Chermiti, who is absolute dog meat, and I've no idea. I mean, there must be some one of those guys that's on their way out the door has got to take the rap for that, because that's just been a disastrous signing for them, and they won't get a fraction of that back for him.
No, and that's the last accounts we're going to get any scrutiny on over there, because now they've gone into the Delaware black hole. We'll never get any visibility on accounts now, so it'll just be guesswork as to what's going on.
The other thing is, if they're trying to sell a bunch of players, I mean, people can smell blood in the water, especially for a good deal. Other clubs are going to be lowballing them like fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. Hilarious stuff. So anyway, guys, we made it through. We battled against the odds, against internet issues, laptops dying, Windows issues. We've had a full suite of issues tonight, but it's been a laugh.
Laundry machines, man. I mean, it's been mad.
It's been all sorts going on, but yeah, thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Innes, for joining us tonight. And thank you to everyone in the comments providing your thoughts. If you're new here, so a couple of new faces there, please chuck us a like and subscribe, as it helps us grow the channel. I believe the tactical review will be on later on tonight. I don't know exactly what time, because I'm all over the place with my time zones at the moment. And the guys will be back on Thursday. I know it's 8:30 Sydney time, so whatever that is in the UK. They'll be doing a preview of the weekend game against Hearts. So thanks very much, and we'll catch you down the road.
Thanks, Stephen. Hello.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers, Daniel.